Hey, what's going on, guys? This is Kyle Carroll from MyMMAnews.com and Carroll's Corner MMA podcast. Tonight, I am joined by DeJon Francis, Fairplay. DeJon Francis, thanks for joining me.
Hey, I appreciate you having me. Means a lot, and it's an honor.
Well, hey, like I said before we started, one of your last fights for Combat at the Space was one of the best fights I've seen in a long time, and I've seen a lot of fights on the MMA amateur level. But now you're making your pro debut. Tell us a little bit about how it feels to be making this transition from the amateurs to pros and making your first fight.
I originally wanted to be pro by 25. That was my goal, but 27, just 2 years later. But it was a worth it 2 years because I got to refine my style, refine my knowledge, and I got a little more athletic during that process. The Ramirez Fight House has helped me a lot with refining my style and winning those last couple of fights before I transitioned into pro.
Absolutely. And Roger Ramirez is your coach. You're saying you're fighting out of Ramirez Fight House. Tell us a little bit about the Fight House and the uniqueness of it. Because I was talking to Rogers, and he was saying how it's almost like a ranch that you guys are all on, training on, and living on. So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, it's like you would think it's a mixture of Rocky and old style traditional training, like a mixture, like I would say 1930s, 1940s training for boxers, and literally training in a hole in the wall. That's what makes the best fighters. It's bare necessity, but all you need is the knowledge and the grit to train consistently and train hard. You know.
Absolutely, and I like the idea of it having everyone in the same area, so you guys really become a family and get close. It's not just show up for training and then leave. You guys are there the whole time, correct?
Yeah, it's not a curriculum. Like we'll train at 8 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, and then we'll train at 5 o'clock in the morning. And that ranch work is it's not you can mimic it in the gym, but it's not the same as effort and cliche, but blood, sweat, and tears. There's a lot more of that at that ranch than there is in a regular curriculum gym you pay monthly.
Absolutely, as they say, it's a lifestyle, right? So definitely sounds like a lifestyle.
Yeah, I posted a video not too long ago about like all the old greats like Ernie Shavers, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, all did farm work, and
Hmm.
that's the best training. Like a lot of old school wrestlers too. They would know they always have that one buddy that's a construction worker, that's a farmer. They'll call up, it's like, hey, you want some free hands? Then call their high school team to come over and start doing some yard, and their muscles are completely different compared to the gym muscles.
Yeah, absolutely. You look at Iowa. You're in the middle of farm country in Midwest,
Oh,
and that's Iowa is one of the best programs historically. So you're not wrong about that. Yeah, I lived in Wisconsin, and a lot of these guys, like you said, are farmers. So it's a different way of life for sure. Tell us about the transition, what you've learned as an amateur to now you're about to make your pro debut. What have you done differently from an amateur now that you decided to go pro?
uh, well, I started off sanctioned, then I did a couple unsanctions for a while outside of state, and then once COVID released, I jumped back into it and did sanction because I honestly thought my style was out of date. My style was still good. It's just I didn't have the guidance and the coaching. Once
Hmm.
Ramirez helped refine it after my school closed down, the karate dojo, I realized that I can still tangle with these guys. It got difficult in the beginning, but I can still tangle with these guys. And what it really taught me, amateur, is how to finish with less tools. Because when you go to pro, it's everything goes but eye gouging and groin kicking. You
Yep.
know, so that's the thing. I mean, if I can put away and I can do a phenomenal performance with limited tools, I can do a lot more once I go pro. That people don't think about.
Yeah, absolutely. It's um I agree with you. You definitely learn a lot and add a lot of tools to the belt. Um What are some of your goals, though? Obviously, to win the fight's a goal, with a short term goal. What are your short term? Is there anything you want to accomplish within the fight? And then, what are some of your long term goals?
Uh, I never get. Rarely, my last one was I got lucky with that decision. You know, you never know; it could be anything. Judges could call whatever. I always say to my head, if it goes to scorecards, you're going to lose, so you have to finish.
Hmm.
That's how I always see it. But to answer your question, my goals is really the UFC. Everyone wants to go to the top, but I don't want to just stop at the UFC. I want to get to everywhere. I want to do what other people haven't done. Yeah, everyone's going for it. Ever since Connor got the double champ, the first double
Hmm.
champ, everyone's been riding that wagon. I don't want to just do MMA. I want to be uh, one of the first to transition into the triangle of kickboxing, Muay Thai, MMA, and boxing. I want to be able to be recognized in all three major sports.
Okay, awesome. Do you have a background in like wrestling? You said karate. You used to be at a karate gym. What's your combat sports background?
Um, I originally started with karate. I like karate, honestly. It's very traditional and disciplined. It gives you a good mindset. And then after karate, I picked up Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and little after I learned Brazilian jiu-jitsu, I picked up boxing, and I really favored boxing a lot. Like I think it
Hmm.
actually is my favorite sport.
Okay. What about the boxing is it that you enjoy more than the grappling?
It's really the because like I said, like it's more of a challenge, you know?
Hmm.
You got an MMA fighter, he has thousands of tools. There's so many, like, that's why it's so hard to be the best in that sport because there's so many variables. While boxers, you just have to refine one tool and just be the best at it. And I just always like boxing history. Like you literally, even though you can't chronologically have see every fight that's happened because it's such an old sport, it's almost 300-year-old sport. You can definitely see the transition. Like, for example, stuff that you would find to be benign, but like there was a time when the dodge was invented
Hmm.
or angles were invented. You know, like no one thinks of this, but someone tried it and it worked, so they stuck with it. You know,
Absolutely. Awesome. And who are some of your training partners at Ramirez Boys? Who you grappling with, boxing with?
uh, we currently have a couple right here right now. We're getting more soon. We have a barracks, a fight barracks that Ramirez has been constructing lately for 16 people. But I've been training currently with his brother and another guy named Trenton, who they're both heavyweights, and they throw me around. They beat me around
Okay.
pretty bad. Like me at my heaviest, I'm a light heavy. You know, it's just it's tough. But that makes me stronger. We're grinding. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the best way to, iron sharpens iron, right? So, absolutely. And so it's taking place, Ring of Combat, Lou Neglia's show, March 3rd, pro debut for you, DeJon, and it's at the Tropicana. Have you fought at the Tropicana before as an amateur, or because I know Ring of Combat has a lot of shows there?
Um, way when I started, they have this amateur promotion which is under Ring of Combat. Same promoters called Dead Serious,
Okay,
and
yes.
they had that inside Freehold for a while at I Play America, and I always fought there. I always fought regionally there. I like AC is probably the biggest fight I've had in a long time compared to like Lou Neglia has he has this stadium that's pretty big. Last time I fought there was like a looked like an opera house. It was pretty huge, you know. It
Oh
had
yeah, in Westbury
I
on Long
told
Island.
yeah, that one
Yeah.
was massive. I think that was the biggest one I fought in so far,
Okay.
considering.
Yeah, the Space of Westbury is a nice venue.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. Like he
And
knows how to pick it.
yeah, it's a nice one for sure. And then so you guys are taking it's fighting at Tropicana. Um, do you feel any pressure in making your pro debut? Is it kind of just something you know what? I'm focused, I'm prepared, I'm just ready to go. It's not really too many nerves.
Nerves are always going to be there. You're not going to be able to get rid of that. If you don't have nerves in the fight, you're crazy or you're stupid. That's what a wise man once told me. But I'm amped. It's really a make and break, you know. Like everyone's debut is kind of like breaking the ice. Like it depends how you take it, but I've always been humble. Win, lose, I'm still gonna give it my all. That's all that matters. As long as I give it my best, I can't say that I could be ashamed of myself in my performance. You know.
Hmm. Absolutely. So, who inspires you? What makes you want to get in there and compete and fight? MMA, kickboxing, all combat sports are really, really vicious on your body. Um, what is it that makes you want to do this instead of, I guess, a traditional, 9 to 5 job or something behind a desk or something?
Uh, It's it's tough because all my idols, like my first idols when I was growing up, they're either extremely old or dead. You know, like I looked up to a lot of Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson, Jack Dempsey. The only current ones that I really idol is Holyfield, Tyson, and George Foreman. Those are the only ones right now. You know, they're pretty up there in age. So just even though it's just boxing, just seeing the work ethic, you know, the work ethic of how hard these guys work and just how they came from nothing and became something. I mean, like a 9 to 5, I can get that once I retire. Like I don't expect to keep on doing the sport at 35. At that point, I'll be past my prime. You know, I can
Mhm.
focus on a 9 to 5 after that. You can, as long as you have no crimes or felonies, you can always pick up those type of jobs. You know.
Absolutely. Awesome. And do you have hobbies outside of training and competing? Like what's something you enjoy doing on your free time to kind of refocus your mind and get to continue that I guess hunger when you're not inside the gym?
Yeah. I do like watching a lot of history movies. Like I'm a
Okay,
huge
cool.
world. I'm a World War II buff. I love actually World War I and two. I love those movies. I love the history. I'll play video games time to time, and when the little friend circle I have, I try to hang out with my friends. You know, see
Awesome.
if that works out.
Favorite history movie? World War II one movie?
Yeah, it was between Saving Private Ryan and Miracle at St. Anna. Those were some pretty good World War II movies at the time. They still hold up for how old they are. I think they were made in like 2010, and Miracle Saint not Miracle Saint Saving Private Ryan was like early 2000s. So
Yeah, that's one of the best war movies ever. You're absolutely right about that.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, no, I'm a big fan as well. Some of the new ones aren't bad, but um, Saving Private Ryan is definitely a classic.
yeah, it's hard to hold up. It's hard to hold up the merit of those movies, you know, because that's the standard. It's
Hmm.
hard to beat that standard, you know.
You're right. Yep. Have you
Yeah.
seen Band of Brothers?
Band of Brothers is really good, and they
Yep.
also have the World War II veteran documentaries after it. I like those.
Yeah, it's
They're
pretty
really
cool listening to someone what those gentlemen went through. It's pretty wild, and I couldn't imagine it. That's for sure.
oh, it's courageous. I mean, like even when you look at like the Civil War or the Revolutionary War, you had to stand in line and wait to get fired at just to fire back. You know, the
It's
chances of you
wild.
surviving that was unheard of.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a crazy concept to think about.
yeah. Then you think of like World War II, like what those men had. The chance of you surviving as a foot soldier, you never know. You could blow up in a second and not know it. You'll be dead before you even know it.
Right?
Life
Imagine
be left
parachuting
forever.
in.
Oh, and
Yeah.
parachuting into bullets? Yeah, it's scary.
One of the
You're
most
done.
wild things on earth. Yeah, absolutely. Um, so you're a big history buff. That's what you do to keep your mind off things. Watch. Uh, um, how important is it to you to continually test like your mental toughness before a fight? Um, the adversity, like your last fight, you said went to the scorecards and stuff, and um, how are fights like that where you're grinding it out? Do you believe are going to help you in the long run as a pro?
Uh, it at the end of the day, if you got a guy that's really giving it to you and he has out techniques you, like that's the thing. You have to have more grit. As long as you have more grit than that guy, It doesn't even have to be a lot. You just have to have this much more. You have that
Hmm.
much more, you can take him out. You, and Mike Ramirez, Rogers, I gave it to Curiel the second round. He was still going. I burnt my gas tank. Like I had nothing. And then Rogers got pissed at me. He started hitting me. He was like, "Come on, you got this. Don't quit. Remember Jack Dempsey? He didn't quit." And I was like, "All right, you got that. You win that." So I was like, "All right, I think I got a little more in the tank after he said that." And that little bit got me that point for that last round. So
Did you expect Mike Curel to gas as quickly as he did?
uh I he kind of got in my head because I swore he was panting pretty heavy after the first round
Yeah, he
because
definitely was.
yeah, he was giving it to me. His top ground and pound was nasty. It was like getting mauled by a bear, you know. And I uh I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna pick this guy up. He's 40 pounds heavier. There's no way. There's no way. He came in tough, like a big athletic, not like a like I just got off the couch athletic, you know.
Hmm.
So and the thing is like everyone's saying like, oh, when you're in bottom, you gotta get up. Like, no, I'm just gonna hit him. I'm not gonna waste energy getting up just to get taken down again. I'm just gonna hit him, you know. And it burnt him out because he's thinking like I gotta hit this guy and I'll finish him off because he's just gonna worry about getting up. And then every time he goes to hit me, I hit him before he hits me. And when you get hit a lot, it takes away your energy, you know. But they got in my head. His corner got in my head because they made him stand up the first round. So I'm like, he's not so he isn't tired. And then when I was watching I was watching him pace around and stand there, I was like, you know what? Yeah, screw this. I'm standing up too. So I went to stand up 30 seconds into the break. I was like, yeah, screw this. I could do that too. So then we started fighting again. And yeah, he took me down and yeah, like the commentator said it perfectly. He's like, he took me down and I had no effort in fighting him back. Like I fell down like a poorly built building. Because the dude's solid. Like I'm not gonna. That's like tackling a linebacker when you know you're lighter. That's suicide. So
Yeah, he comes from a good gym. He's a tough guy out of Law MMA, and I know through that first round he kind of put it to you, and then like you said, that second round, I think like it was almost like halfway through that round, you kind of turned the corner, and he really started the gas, and you started pouring it on, and then in the third you just took over.
oh yeah, he the thing is because I'm laying there and Rogers is yelling at me, and some of it's audible, some of it's inaudible. But ultimately, in my head, I'm saying it's like if I just let this guy hold me down the whole time, I'm gonna lose. You know,
Hmm.
I'm definitely losing this. There's no doubt about it. And then Chris Molina, he likes to see action. He doesn't like seeing guys lay
Yep.
around. So
Yep.
he stood us up, and I was like, all right, this is the only chance I got. So then I bum rushed him, and then me bum rushing him, it kind of flustered him, so he couldn't really shoot properly. And yeah, that I knew that if I just had to be sporadic. Didn't care what I threw, just be sporadic. And caught him with a couple head kicks. I think that's what dazed him. And then I started just pouring it on. He tried to take me down, but I dude, picking up a guy that heavy takes a lot of energy. Just pushing him off takes a lot of energy,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
no easy task by any means.
Yeah. And I once I hit him with that barrage, I'm like, if I had 5 more seconds, I know they would have called it, but he hung in there. He hung in there freaking well. Like power to him because they train guys with grit in that gym. Like there's a reason
Hmm.
why it's a UFC gym, you know?
Yep. Now, how'd you feel before they announced the official decision? Were you like, I'm confident I got this, or I think I got 2 rounds, maybe one and a half? How'd you see that when right before they announced the decision?
Oh, I was looking at it, I was like, I mean, I slapped on 2 triangles. I was like, if I slapped on 2 triangles, I was hitting him more on the ground than he was hitting me the third round.
Hmm.
But they could still just because that's how it is. Like we all get how the judging system works. Well, not judging, but just scoring system works for MMA. I mean, like if a guy is getting peppered all around, he takes you down and holds you for the last 30 seconds, he can win that round. That can be a
Hmm.
10-8 round, because of the takedown, the control time. So I'm like, that ultimately could take it, you know? Like if he held me down, he was on top. It doesn't matter how many times I hit him, he can win that. So, and I was just surprised. I mean, like there had to be a jujitsu judge in one of those in that committee because I did not know how I got that split. Like I saw it split for him. I didn't see a split for me. I was dumbfounded.
Okay. And then on the same card, your coach, Roger Ramirez, he he had a crazy fight too. The first round, he was getting thrown around by his opponent, and then second round, he turned it on, and he ended up finishing his opponent in the third. I don't remember. I can't recall if whether or not you fought before him or after, but seeing that fight and your coach do that, what does that do for you?
Well, it's like old days, you know. The general leads the charge. Back in the day, the general would lead in the front. Now the general leads in the back, you know.
Hmm.
But it brings a morale boost, you know. Now it's like, well, now I can't look bad. He just baton passed, you know. He baton passed that aura, so now I have to win, you know. And when I saw, because Rogers, he likes to strike, but he's a phenomenal wrestler. He's a good grappler. He sees the ins and outs of how it works. So, but he likes to strike, you know. But we're like Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier lost almost every first round in his boxing career. We're slow starters. That's how we all work. You know, like if you fight one of us, you are most likely winning the first round. It's just the way it is. But once the second and third round, we pick up. That's really that's really the broad game plan, you know.
Absolutely. And I think this is a testament also to your team's conditioning and stuff because, when you get to those later rounds, it gets exhausting. And if you're able to outwill someone, the difference, I really believe, good fighters and great fighters is just stamina and who's tired and who's not.
That that's ultimately what it is. Like, yeah, you can be tired, but it goes back to grit. You gotta have grit and heart. If you don't got that, your technique goes out the window. It pains me to say it, but jujitsu's great when you have heart with the jujitsu. I mean, you can be curriculum all day, but one wise man, one of my trainers a while ago said, you fight a black belt in a no rules match. You punch him in the face, he turns to a brown belt. Punch him in the face again, he's a purple. You know, like, but
Hmm.
those disciplined guys though, they know how to, if they know how to take a punch and they know what they have to do to win, they'll do it. But a lot of jujitsu these days gets watered down, you know.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
practitioners, yeah. They're martial artists. I can say they're martial artists, but a lot of them are just practitioners. They go in just to learn and say that they did it, you know. But when you're at a competition level, it's a different type of athlete, you know.
Yeah, your opponent's doing the same thing. So it's how much further are you willing to take it and train for it and prepare yourself for the match. Totally understand that.
I've seen people like lose their they lose their heart in the fight. Like I forgot that kid's name, but he quit on his bench. He's like, call it, I'm done. Like when you're burnt and you're exhausted and someone takes you into that deep water and everything you try, they just shut down. It can shatter your morale. I mean, I can't even blame a guy for quitting because like like seriously, if you try everything and it doesn't work, like I can understand, but I couldn't quit. Like you have to knock me out or the ref has to call it. So
Absolutely. Um, yeah, so we got this fight coming up. Tell us a little bit about you have any sponsors or anyone you want to recognize, support?
yeah, I want to shout out Canaan Express and Elizabeth. They they're a truck express company, logistics. And you need have a CDL and you need a job, go down to Canaan because mention up my name and make a good first impression. They'll take care of you. And I wanted Ramirez Boys Fight House, of course, because like I said, I Rogers didn't change my style. He just refined it for me. And it's kind of like your hidden potential, you know, he unlocked it.
Hmm.
I gotta shout them out. Blau pre-workout. Blau pre-workout's been with me since my amateur beginning amateur, since I joined the gym.
Okay.
And want to give them a quick shout out because they're another sponsor.
Awesome.
And yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you have anyone else?
yeah. I wanted to one more just
Sure.
DOC, all my ex coworkers for the DOC that helped me keep my job and helped me and guide me through law enforcement and the U.S. National Guard. All those brothers and sisters that support me doing what I'm doing and giving me the opportunity to do it on short notice. Even though we have duties to do, they give me some leeway. So I want to shout out Echo Company 150th for helping me out.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. What's one thing about you that nobody knows and you want to share with everyone for the fans that still learning about you, for the fans that have been following you? What's something about you nobody knows and you want to share?
Eh,
Doesn't have to be combat sports related.
There's a couple things. I'm not a musician, but I do play multiple instruments. I played clarinet, saxophone, and I play a little guitar from time to time. And
Awesome. That's more for yourself.
yeah, and the ranch actually brought out my inner redneck, because I'm originally from South Jersey, so
Okay.
that's yeah. You go to South Jersey, that's when you start hitting the accents and the farmland. So it kind of brought that back out of me.
There you go. Awesome. Hey, man, I'm looking forward to seeing you get in there and compete. Like I said, March 3rd, DeJon's making his pro debut for Ring of Combat at the Tropicana. Uh, Prediction how you see the fights going and what can the fans expect?
Um, Lou Neglia does an amazing job, and the New Jersey branch of Ring of Combat does an amazing job. Frankie Perez. I think honestly, you might have two decisions in that entire card. Everyone's getting finished or submitted. It's just a matter. These guys are Jersey pulls in the tri-state area in the northeast pulls in a lot of talent. So, and I don't have a exact prediction for myself because, like I said, I give it my all. If all I can promise to everyone is my best, and I always give my best in that cage.
Awesome. That's all the fans ask for. So, DeJon, it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you. Wish you the best of luck in your fight, and can't wait to see this fight.
Hey, I'm gonna do my best to entertain you and everyone, and I appreciate you having me on here. It's an honor.
Absolutely. This is Carol's Corner MMA podcast, and we're signing off. Make sure you go and check out DeJon Francis fighting March 3rd. You don't want to miss it.
Yep. Stay tuned for the pay-per-view. It's going to be great.